I was careless. I didn't really think too much about what I was doing. I would just kind of act. Um, my friends would really like to do dumb things, and I would go along with them and do it. I just didn't really think too much about how it was affecting others around me, or how this made me look as a person. So I was just kind of doing whatever I wanted without thinking about the repercussions of others. Yeah, I really did think that no matter what happened to me, like I could just keep playing and nothing terrible was ever gonna happen. And like even the week before the event happened, I had another injury happen, and my doctor advised against me playing that week. But I told him no, and I decided to play through it. And yeah, I found out real quick that I wasn't invincible, but it really did feel like I was before that. I'd only had one injury that kept me out of football for maybe 2 weeks before that, and that event really kind of changed my outlook on things. Everyone was really hoping they're coming up to me saying, "Hope you can get in this week. We need you out there. We got a lot of injuries right now." So I felt a bit of pressure to step up and play. Even though my doctor told me that maybe it would be best for me to sit out, we were in a position where we were 3-1 at that point. Losing another game there would really hurt our season. So I decided to, bear down and just play through the pain. So when it happened, I knew it would just happen. I didn't look down at it or anything, but when I laid my head back, there was no one over me. And when I opened them back up, there were about 9 people over top of me. So I knew something bad had just happened. Maybe not to the extremity, but when it happened, I felt the crack, and the first thing that came to my mind was it's over. Football's done. I don't remember the physical pain, but I remember every bit of the mental warfare that I had to go through watching my team play on that field without me. I realized that I didn't know who I was beyond being a football player. I kind of structured my entire identity around being an athlete, and I didn't really feel like I had much depth to myself anymore. I actually do think I grew from that because it put me on the other side of things where I was always in the forefront of things, and now I was really just a guy off to the side. And it kind of showed me that maybe stepping off to the side is good sometimes. And like I still had my moments where, I was called upon. I would describe myself now, I would say that I'm really just a caring person who wants to help others and make sure that everyone is getting the best out of themselves and finding the positive in everything. But knowing when to find the positive and knowing that that positive is really good for you, like I just think that finding that can make any day a good day. Even on my worst days, there's always something that I like to pick out to, make sure I don't go to bed on a bad note. I always like to remember the best things from my day before I go to bed. And I would really say it's just made me a more positive person. So the moment I snapped my ankle, I had a million thoughts come to my mind. And I'd say I'm still trying to answer about 100,000 of them, but it's one day at a time. And, it's a very hard experience to get a traumatic injury like that, but it's really just an experience to grow and change that wants to find the best for people. I'm still very much a work in progress, but I'd like to think that that injury was the start of me going on the right road. Any advice for anyone who gets hurt is find yourself in it. Don't push off those thoughts that you get when you're hurt. Take them on as a challenge and use them to become a better person. Um, those darkest days is really when you find the biggest growth in yourself.